I handed a Russian edition of War and Peace to my grandmother, curious as to how she would react. She took it in hand and pronounced the author's name, Tolstoy, each letter a dove from wall to wall, then Lev Tolstoy, as if the name rippled like sea sounds from outside. She opened to the first words, Russian aristocracy at the time of Bonaparte's terror. The Count's characters own large estates and speak elegant French. They live in the Tsar's shadow, rattle swords born in the mind of a Christian anarchist who comes to life and portrays slaughter on the battlefield. Granny reads aloud, Cyrillic words tumble into the cramped living room. Why does life live and die? Why peace and why war? Measured tones and underlying signature of man and his follies. Grandmother rose, thinking down corridors of a splintered light. She usually read real estate notices and made modest investments. She knew Hebrew prayers which illuminated Sabbath ritual. Now here was Lev Tolstoy in a cassock chasing butterflies. Granny soon moved to the Jewish home for the aged north of Hollywood, where the halls reeked of cleansing fluid. You turn left onto the Ventura Freeway, take an off-ramp halfway to the Jewish Pale of Settlement. Granny keeps on reading as decades rise and fall. Count Tolstoy died on a train in the heartland. The aristocracy will vanish. The old man praised the Jews in his land of anti-Semitism as he blamed the earth for carnage and the genius of revenge. It's a wonderful book you gave me. Rose grabbed my wrist by firm elder fingers. Get married, have plenty of children, and make lots of money. She folded a 20 in my palm, leaving Tolstoy's book and his spirit on the coffee table, where for all I know, they may be resting even now down the hollows of a Russian spine just off the Venice Beach boardwalk. Sledusvaka Osen, next autumn, when the sounds of cannon fire burst from the pages of War and Peace. And I'll just read two more. So I really slaughtered that Russian. That was Russian for whatever, what I said. Sorry, Granny.
He forgives you.
This is an LA poem. I had gone down to Beyond Baroque about 3 months ago and with Paul Evangelisti read there and for my book, and I took a little break, and this is what happened. And it was only 6 blocks from where the Granny stuff took place. It was like a tree. The Inquisition was like a tree. And then it was a pathway between apartment buildings with light rain. You must understand what is said, or you'll miss the point and continue writing half of the poem while the other half goes wanting. The Inquisition will stay indoors, drinking Coors and smoking weed. What was it like? Look into flowers, not at them. Look inside and find chlorophyll. Try not to show your displeasure or borderline madness when they ask, why did you leave the party? Tell them, I needed to get some air, and even though I love and admire you, it is so much better merging into the night, pricing the houses as I enter a street of picturesque driveways, easing into faces, archaic questions built of obsidian, turquoise, and paving stone, utterly liberating to feel an archaic darkness and a sense of slow decay. I smelled carnations, camellias, and urine and beer and cigarette smoke, marijuana, garbage cans, retired cops staring at a Western. Life is like the earth, I guess. Like patches of weed, like ragged palm trees, like Abbot Kinney Street in Venice, thin starched bodies of 24-year-old men passing ridiculous boutiques, vending excrement in every possible color. Death is Raggedy Ann and Popeye the Sailor Man, a penny arcade, half-light in a funhouse. Death is your grandmother, your father, your best friend's ashes, your feel it, feed it, fondle it, admire and hate it. Death is fire on your wrist, the bite of a dog ripping skin from the wrist. Death, charcoal morning light, rusted desire. Death, a swan, a river, the Everglades. What was light like? A brittle old man giving the lowdown, easy to say, but love was ashes and dust and sullen and marble and sandy and sexual desire and exhaustion, a dull thud, a crown of thorns, crowded memory. Must be fear dividing us, driving our brains, maiming our flesh. Death is, was, and will be coming down in the pike. Hee hee, ha ha, so what? If you are poverty-stricken in the wasteland and prone to bury the dead before they've died, and yeah, that is where you get it. I mean, he was perfectly healthy, and then they came for him and took him away. No matter any protest, his last words, what was death like, you worm? Oh, this is the dud, and that is the perfect iris in a shop window of the ghetto, 1937, before they burnt the synagogue. Grandmother Moses gone to her grave, walking along a passageway. David lay dying in his bed. Julie sent me in. I said, you are sailing on air. I told him, my father fell from the clouds without a prayer. It's better to listen to God than be scattered everywhere. Is death happy? Do we go to another place? How about the mind, dude? Blood in your body, deadly. Go fuck a cuckoo clock on shadows of doubt. The knives of night are damp, damaged. House lights barely function. Where is Abbot Kinney Street and a place to eat? To die in this labyrinth is fine as long as dinner doesn't turn cold. Primal stuff, burying men down at the very least. I have to face a million burning questions. Thank you very much.